on the road to recovery in Castle Rock, Colorado. Live from Millville, New Jersey, I'm on the road to recovery. We're on the road to recovery in Morgantown, West Virginia at Mountaineer Field. And live in Scranton, Pennsylvania, I'm on the road to recovery. Here I am on the road to recovery from Berlin, Maryland. Hey, from Caseville, Michigan, I'm on the road to recovery. I'm on the road to recovery at Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. I'm on the road to recovery in Nashville, Tennessee. Tennessee has a huge problem with addiction, methamphetamine pills. We spoke with law enforcement today talking about the influx of heroin into this place. Tennessee has a problem just like every other place in America. It's an American pandemic. But recovery is a story that we need to talk about. Recovery is a story we need to focus on. And I'm on the road to recovery. I'm going to meet and introduce you to my good friend, Tyler Bowman.
My addiction? I'd say that it honestly began, I started to recognize as I became sober. It started at childhood and at a very early age. I just had a very addictive personality from probably 3 years old. A lot of manipulation with parents, I can remember actually, all the way dating back to then. My parents had a shaky relationship, so I was really good at going between the two and trying to manipulate, get what I wanted or to get things to happen certain ways. It really didn't come in full circle probably until after I quit playing baseball, my freshman year of college. It was about that point that I really, after a bad breakup, I started really dabbling in painkillers. Had a doctor prescribe me some Loratabs after a hand injury. I lived a rough life. It was actually, I got in a fight and broke my hand, and they prescribed me a 30-day supply. So I'd already knew from early experimentation that I liked the feeling it gave me, but I think that was the tipping point. It was at that point, you know, they say it takes 7 days to become addicted. And once I finished that prescription, I started seeing signs and symptoms of withdrawals. I didn't know what it was. I actually remember trying to run it off one night when it hit me. I didn't know what restless legs were. From there, it just continued to progress. It was at that point really just, it went south really fast. I saw that I couldn't manage my life and it was out of control and I was on a downward spiral. I was just working to supply a habit. That's it. I would get up, go to work in the morning sick and couldn't wait to get off and then go home and not be sick anymore. It was in 2011 that I was just sick of everything. I didn't have the guts to take my own life. So I decided to take my entire prescription of Xanax that the doctor had coincidentally given me along with Suboxone. I slept for 3 days. I just remember waking up to my mother being there, and I thought I'd been asleep for 12 hours. So she looked concerned and said, no, sweetie, you've been asleep since Friday. It's Monday now. So apparently in that time she had called poison control, and they said the best thing to do was sleep it off. So after that, they decided sending me to rehab was the best option. Recovery to me is my life. It's not only what I feel like God's brought me to service to do, it's to help others recover, but it's also a process for me, and it's been that finding that faith in Him and knowing that no matter what scary situation that I come in contact with in my life, that I have the strength to pull through because He gives me that strength. I'd say addiction's driven by fear of the unknown, fear of change, and I didn't have God in my life. I ran from Him for years. I knew who He was. I just didn't think I was good enough. I thought I was tainted. I thought I was a bad person. I thought that He wouldn't forgive me, and I thought that I couldn't live up to His expectations for my life. He keeps me full today. He fills that void that I used to feel with all these drugs and all the alcohol, and there's nothing that could ever be on the same level. I think it was my first year sober. I was working at GNC in Florida after I got out of treatment, and they gave a drug addict keys to a store with over $100,000 in merchandise. And a lady came in And she said, God's good, ain't he? And I said, all the time. But it was at that point that I really felt the connection with God, and I knew in my heart that as long as I do my part and I pursue him, that he's gonna uphold his end, even if he doesn't always give me an answer when I want it. Spirituality is the key, and God is the key. He's the only one that can bring us back from that place of hopelessness, and in doing so we find strength and we become planted in faith, and we become the men that, or the women that he's intended us to be. I absolutely think that Jesus can deliver somebody from their addiction. They just have to be willing to believe and have faith. In my line of work, I come in contact with a lot of people that have other faiths and other beliefs, and that's what keeps them sober. But a lot of times I see them grow into Christianity, and I see it happen time and time again. Friends because let's be honest, if we knew what we had faith in, we wouldn't be doing the things we're doing. So how can someone that's still sick and recovering know what their faith is until they find it, until they're actually on the right path? So I don't judge anyone for their path. I support everyone as long as it keeps them sober. But undoubtedly, I know that if you rely on God and let him take over and take control of your life, that you can be healed.
So as we can see in Tennessee, and just like every other place around the country, we're dealing with an addiction problem, but Tyler shows us that he has a recovery journey that can motivate other people to find that same path. He's helping people find their way to recovery just like he did. I'm Michael DeLeon saying goodbye from Nashville. We'll see you on the next episode of On the Road to Recovery.